So she told me from your time, and I went to B school back. Yeah, that's perfect. I went to B school back in 2001 when I passed out from exam Bhubaneswar. And she told me, you work for 10 years now. It would be a good idea for you to talk about stuff that they don't teach you in B school now that you work for 10 years. So I, with generous inspiration from a few other people who walk this way, put together this talk. And it comes with a caveat. You've seen a good marketeer always has like a star somewhere in the ad, right? Yeah? So star generally means there's some fine print and so, yeah, so there's of course a fine print which you can't read. So that's purely for my benefit in case any of you decide to sue me on the basis of any advice or point of view that I give you. So basically says this is based on the assumption that the curriculum taught in business schools has remained largely unchanged since the author went to B school 10 years ago. You may not challenge the assumptions proposed for the lecture. That's pretty much how it's said on TV or radio. So the conditions apply. That kind of thing, okay? So I think you get the point. Okay, so anyone recognizes these three guys? They have something to do with my talk. Three guys dominated the sport of golf for 20 years. I think between the 60s and 80s. Okay, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, one more. No? Gary Player, okay? So Gary Player, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus dominated golf. Golf was still very nascent. It wasn't like a pro sport. The guys who sort of made money in it were in their middle age, but it was just starting to sort of become cool. And there was this really smart guy who got onto this and started a company called IMG. Okay, so Mark McCormack started IMG, which was basically a professional sportsman management company, and his first three clients were these three guys. And he got really successful, and he actually had a colleague, so his sort of drive through life was to do better than somebody else, and that guy actually went to Harvard Business School and turned out less successful than Mr. Mark McCormack. So to sort of rub it in, he said, I never went to Harvard Business School, but I got it right. Okay? So, I don't know, anyone read this book? No one? Anyone's read it? You read it? Okay. Okay, you read it? Okay. And it was such a successful book that he actually wrote a second book 5 years later, and he lacked the creativity, so he just added one word. Okay, and but then he had become a little more successful, and he had become even bigger and stuff like that. So just want to rub it in a little more. So, I don't know, just going to run you through some of the wisdom. So I read both these books, unfortunately, without having the context a long time ago. So I'm going through some of the notes. I have this nasty habit, whenever I read a book, I underline, I make notes, and I make a presentation, and I send it out to anyone who's ever worked with me. Okay? So I have a mailing list that is, I think at last got about 87 people. So anyone who's ever worked with me since the first day, not peers, only people who work reporting into me are on that mailing list. And you only get onto that mailing list if you hopefully work. Or later I sort of became a little less selectionist, and I sort of said, okay, if somebody asked me to put them on the list, I put them on the list. So this is from the presentation I made after reading this book. So you had to say stuff like, make friends, people like buying from friends. So seemed quite sensible to me. Yeah? You'd like to do business not with neutrals or enemies. Yeah, so I'm saying if you're a friend with somebody, after 10 years you reckon you're more likely to get some business, you're more likely to seal a contract, you're more likely to make headway with somebody who you have some sort of relationship with. And other stuff to say like, know not only what you're selling, but what the buyer and the product really offers. So this was of course written back in the latter part of the 80s, where this whole business of you're selling the whole concept. So when you FedEx somebody something, you're not just buying a courier service, you're buying the peace of mind that it will reach on time or it will reach overnight. If you're buying an Apple computer, you're not buying just the computer, you're buying the whole persona of being cool, of being cutting edge and all of that. So seemed like reasonably good wisdom. And then he said, in negotiation, do you have a course on negotiation? Okay, so good, that's a good change. So somebody the other day was asking me, if you, so I was talking to an old prof of mine, and he said, if you were to suggest 3 courses that aren't on B school curriculum that you would include, which would they be and why? So one of them was negotiation. Can anyone hazard a guess at least what my other 2 were? Sales? No, I think most B schools have a course on sales. It's called SATMAN, Sales and Distribution Management.
Sales practicum is missing from all. Sales practicum is a practical experience
Okay.
in sales.
Actual experience of sales? Okay, no.
Ethics.
No, I think most have a course on business ethics. So I did a course on business ethics many years ago. Leadership is very generic. Not really. I think you do a lot of it, but you do the real terrible kind. You don't do the really good kind.
How to make friends and...
How to make friends? Okay, so I'm going to sort of go around. So my recommendations were number 1, listening. Yeah, there's a huge market for listening skills in the world today. The second one was giving feedback. 2, according to me, very important. The third, of course, was negotiation, because back when I was there, we didn't have any course in negotiation. Then he also said, I think it's important to keep your employees slightly off balance, even at the cost of occasional unfairness. And this sort of course, was his point of view, but it sort of left me like slightly off balance. I think it was intention that every reader who reads the book sort of should be left a little uneasy. So I didn't sort of personally buy this, but this was his advice, that you must sort of keep your employees slightly off balance, because then they'll be on guard. And then he had this really sleazy piece of advice in the book. Anyone remembers this who read it? What the underlying logic behind this piece of advice was? So basically, we're into the business of professional, sort of representing professional sportsmen, and his view was, if somebody came to you and he still wasn't an established guy, you should proactively refer to him to a weaker competitor. What might the thinking be?
Because in case the competitor serves him well, first of all, you are establishing a trust here. You are referring the business to competitors, big thing. It's something that you are working in his favor, which works for him. So I would say it's about trust. Trust in a long-term relationship.
No, but what was in it for him? Yeah,
it's a negative
have a
tactic.
shot.
also the fact that he is not testing the waters himself, he is allowing his competitor to do the testing for him.
Negative tactic.
But what? Okay, so maybe he sends it to a competitor who's weaker, but how does it work for him? How is it good sense?
He's allowing the competitor to fail so that he can...
Absolutely, okay. So the intention of doing that is, in his book he says, if you actually send a weak player, because he says, you know, in this professional business, managing people, you can have like hundreds of tennis players or hundreds of golfers that come to you. You don't want to invest in all of them. So you consciously send the questionable guys who aren't yet established to a weaker guy. If they get successful, the weaker guy won't be able to handle them well. They'll in any case then come to you. So let the weaker competitors do all the sifting. They won't meet the requirements of this world-class sportsman, and they come back to you, and they would have sort of incurred the cost of sifting. Anyway, so very sleazy advice, not the kind of advice you'd want to give young people who don't go to Harvard, but it was in his book all the same. So I thought let's along the same lines try and do a Mark McCormack on the basis of my 10 years and maybe give you a few pointers. So yeah, if you haven't noticed already, I shamelessly aimed the font to the best of my ability with the limited fonts that I had. Probably one of the big discoveries that I had is that whenever you go to B school, when you do a case or when you're especially doing financial accounting or management accounting or any of those courses, there is one right answer. Yeah, it either balances or doesn't balance. You hit the third decimal point, but there is a right answer to a lot of things that you study over here. There's one recommended way, there's a clear solution, there's a right answer, and it's reasonably irrefutable. And you either get marks for it or you don't get marks for it, you either pass or fail. In the real world, there is no single right answer to any situation that you are faced with in everyday business. You can have 5 or 6 right answers, and that's something that I think the nature of our education over here doesn't prepare you for. So you won't have a situation in B school that the person sitting to the right of you writes exactly the opposite of what you wrote, and both of you get full marks. Yeah, in the real world it happens all the time that there's a different point of view, there's a different way you could see it, go, no go, take completely different calls and have it turn out fine. Well, the second thing is, and you said, we can teach leadership. My view over a long period of time is that leadership is all about practice. Yeah, it's all about doing the hard work. And I'm halfway through writing a sort of memoir of my time that I was in Unilever. And it's largely based on the theory that, so you keep reading these articles that keep coming about Unilever being a school for CEOs.